Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something really special, almost like a time capsule.
Yeah, a personal letter, right, from the early 80s.
Exactly. And it gives this incredible, unexpected view into the cultural and linguistic links or maybe differences between the U.S. and Russia.
During the Cold War, no less.
Yeah.
A tense time.
Right. So our mission today is to really unpack this letter. It was written by a man named Lev Namotin.
Mm.
He was at the Sheraton Washington Hotel here in D.C., probably around 1982.
Mm.
And he was writing back home to his aunt and cousin, Manya and Benjamin, in Russia. Lev worked at Brookhaven National Lab, so there's the scientific angle, too.
Which adds another layer.
Yeah.
But what's amazing is just getting this kind of personal message across borders back then.
Totally.
The Cold War had these really rigid official stories, this iron curtain for information.
Yeah.
And a letter like this, it just cuts through all that. It's unfiltered.
A real human perspective.
Exactly. Not the state-controlled narrative. It shows how people stayed connected despite everything.
And you feel that connection, that urgency to connect right from the very first lines.
What does he say?
He writes, 1,000 times I meant to write a letter, but each time I was stopped by my inability to say much in little.
Wow. Okay.
Straight away, you get this sense of the huge challenge, right? Trying to communicate this whole new life, this world, across such a massive divide.
It's the weight of it all. How do you condense that?
Yeah. What does that phrase make you think about? The communication itself.
Well, it's heavy, isn't it? And right after that, he uses this really powerful cultural touchstone. He says, but remember how it was with Solzhenitsyn? Judge not by outcomes, but by intentions.
Solzhenitsyn, in a letter to Russia from America in the 80s.
Exactly. I mean, Solzhenitsyn, Nobel Prize winner,
Right.
a major critic of the Soviet system, exiled. Referencing him is not casual.
No.
It's like a code, almost, a bridge. He's saying, we share this background, this understanding, even though he's in a new place.
It's using language to carry that shared history.
Precisely. It's memory, shared values, packed into one name. It immediately says, we're on the same page, despite the distance.
So he builds that bridge of understanding even while living in a totally different world. And often it's the everyday stuff, the small details, that really show the differences.
Yeah, the mundane can be very revealing.
He talks about his kids. Shmulik, who's 3, has this whirl of untouched hair, sounds like a bundle of energy, physically strong. Then there's Gennady in her first year at yeshiva, doing well, delighting us, but also bossing around her siblings.
Sounds like a typical older sister.
And Lunani, who's grown a lot, helps with prayers like Kiddush and benching, and apparently starts games that shake our small by your standards house.
There it is. Our small by your standards house. That phrase just leaps out.
It really does. What's your take on that? Living space, comfort levels?
I think it speaks volumes. It's about those material differences, definitely. Housing in the Soviet Union then was often, well, quite cramped. So an American house, even a modest one, might seem large by comparison. But Lev flips it. He frames his house as small from their perspective.
Interesting. So why do that?
It could be a nod to their shared past, acknowledging, I know what you're used to or what the standard is back home. It highlights how culture shapes even our view of basic things like space, different expectations.
So beyond the kids in the house, there are updates on the adults, too. His wife, Ira, is finishing her PhD in mathematics that spring.
Wow, doctor of philosophy. That's significant.
And his mother-in-law, Ida Adolfovna, she's started taking English courses.
Okay, so these are big steps, right? Markers of settling in, integrating into American life.
Absolutely. Higher education, learning the language.
These are huge adjustments and achievements, which makes his next comment really interesting. He says, about myself, there's nothing to say.
Yeah, that felt understated.
It often happens with immigrants, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The focus goes on to the family, the kids, the spouse adapting, getting established. Their own journey, which is massive, can sometimes feel like, well, just background noise to them.
That makes sense. And then right after that, he makes this really specific observation about America.
What's that?
He says, the only negative point time runs much too quickly. And then he adds, in parentheses, I don't know to what degree this is news to you about America.
So he's directly asking if this is a known thing back home.
Yeah. Like, is this stereotype true? It suggests he thinks there's a recognized difference in the pace of life.
Oh, absolutely. That feeling of time speeding up in America, it's a classic observation. It taps into that whole perception of American culture as, dynamic, efficient, maybe relentless.
Compared to maybe a slower, more measured pace elsewhere.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least a different rhythm. And it's not just an idea, it's something people feel. It can be a real point of cultural friction. It makes you, the listener, wonder, doesn't it? How much does our environment shape something as basic as how we experience time?
It's amazing how these deep cultural feelings come through in just a few lines of a letter. Okay, so now we get to a part that's, let's say, linguistically very complex and pretty striking.
Okay, I'm ready.
Lev writes, "A pity only that here there are many places where nobody except Uncle Tom's live." And he includes a note here, well, the translator does. Translator, the reference is to Uncle Tom's cabin.
Right. Okay, Uncle Tom's. That's a loaded term.
Very. He continues, "Where it's better not to go. They live, of course, in huts, and we do our best to keep them oppressed."
Whoa. Okay, that can't be literal. The tone there must be key.
Exactly. They live, of course, in huts, and we do our best to keep them oppressed.
That has to be sarcasm. Biting sarcasm.
It seems like it, right? But unpacking it, the reference to Uncle Tom itself is complex, especially in the 80s context, often used pejoratively.
Implying subservience, collaboration.
But then the description, huts, keep them oppressed. It's so over the top.
It sounds like he's maybe mocking a certain simplistic, perhaps propagandized Soviet view of America. Like exaggerating the negative stereotypes about racial inequality to the point of absurdity.
That's one possibility. Or could it be his own, deeply cynical commentary on the realities he does see, but delivered with this really dark, ironic humor?
A kind of gallows humor, maybe, understood within his own cultural framework. It's tricky.
It really is. The meaning is completely inverted by the tone and the implied context. And for us, or for you listening, without being fully inside that specific cultural and historical moment.
It's really hard to be 100% sure what he intended. It shows just how much nuance gets packed into language, especially across cultures.
That passage definitely highlights the layers. And this difficulty, this need to read between the lines, gets even more intense and more political in his closing lines.
Okay, how does he end it?
He writes about some misinformation he's heard. One idiot came from Israel and said that mine, your brother, is being offered help in finding a position, especially in scientific circles, beyond the Urals.
Beyond the Urals. Okay, that's not just geography in the Soviet context.
What does it signify?
It often meant somewhere remote, undesirable, maybe even punitive, historically linked to internal exile. Offering a scientist a job beyond the Urals. That sounds suspicious.
Like a threat, almost. Or a way to discredit someone.
It could be interpreted that way, yes. A subtle warning, perhaps, or just pure disinformation designed to make life outside seem precarious or controlled.
And Lev's reaction is strong. He says, "I've never heard such nonsense, and even less so." He dismisses it completely.
He calls it out as absurd, which leads into his next line, right?
Yeah. He says, "That's how we live in a world of lies."
Wow, that's a powerful statement. Directly connecting this piece of nonsense to the broader reality of information control during the Cold War.
He's basically saying, this is the kind of distortion we have to deal with.
Exactly. The manipulation of narratives, especially about life abroad for immigrants, his frustration is palpable.
And then comes the final line. This really hit me. He just says, "Come and you'll see."
Simple. Direct.
Incredibly direct. After all the complexities, the irony, the frustration with lies, it's just this raw invitation.
It cuts through everything, doesn't it? Forget the rumors, forget the propaganda.
Come, witness it yourself.
It's a plea for first-hand experience, for truth based on reality, not on what someone tells you. A profound call for personal verification.
Especially powerful given the walls, literal and figurative, of that era.
Absolutely. It highlights that deep human need for authenticity, for truth, and the struggle to find it when you're swimming in conflicting information, which, well, that feels pretty relevant even now, doesn't it?
It really does. That struggle is timeless. So, reflecting on this whole letter, it started as just one person writing home from a hotel.
Yeah, a seemingly small thing.
But it opened up this incredibly rich view of language, culture, how people saw the world, how they connected or tried to across these huge political divides.
Definitely. We saw how language carries cultural weight, in things like the pace of life or how you talk about your house.
And the complexity of things like irony, how meaning can flip depending on who you are and where you're coming from.
And that constant battle against misinformation, the desire for real, honest connection, it's all packed in there.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. What hidden meanings, what cultural insights might be hiding in the small communications in your own life? The texts, the emails, the casual chats?
Or, taking it a step further, like Lev, what would happen if you invited someone to truly come and see the world from your perspective?
How do your own words, maybe even the ones you don't think much about, reflect your own unique cultural lens? Something to think about.